My name's Mark Langley. I'm going to give you some ideas on turning on the hindquarter and having some control over the shoulders. This young mare here is a mare that some of you may have been following on the blog. It's John's mare. She's a young mare that's only had a handful of rides, and she's at a stage where she's starting to a little bit more mentally accept pressure, so I can start to control her body a little bit more. But in able to control the body, you have to have a fair bit of an acceptance of the horse's mind and control over the mind. So what I'm going to talk about is, one, taking the tension out of a horse. We unfortunately, working with horses, we will create more tension in the horse than it would if it was out in the paddock just grazing under a tree. So when I'm working on teaching young horses to move and do things and new things that they're not used to, it's imperative that you can address tension in your horse and release the tension. So what I'm going to work on at the moment is a few things she's going to need to know. Now this is just going to be a basic sort of few steps turning around on the hindquarter. So she's going to sort of somewhat pivot on the hindquarter. So first of all, we need to know that there's not a lot of tension first of all in the reins. So I'm just going to pick up the reins there and see how she just sort of picked up her head, a little bit alert there. That means she knows something's coming, but I want to know that she's not picking up her head going, oh crikey, here comes the bit. I'm frightened of that. So, and this mare sort of, she was a bit of the reason we put her on the blog is because she was a reasonably tough mare. She was a nervous mare and she did hold a lot of tension. So, as I said before, it's imperative that we learn how to release the tension, and I get quite a lot of thoroughbreds and sort of hotter-blooded horses and re-education horses that have a lot of tension, and the whole aim of while they're here is to release the tension and calm them so you can gain control over their mind, and then we can use their body in a softer, calmer way. So I'm just going to pick up the reins there and just hold the reins until she stops backing and just relaxes there. I don't want to sort of make her frightened of the bit or anything, so I'm just going to do that there. Now that's one thing a horse really needs to know, is how to just accept the bit, because if the horse feels trapped as soon as you pick up the reins, it's going to be looking for other places to get out of that trap. So I'm just going to ride up here and I'm going to say, pick up the reins again. Now she's got the speaker in front of there and the camera, so she's a little bit tentative up there because she is a mare that's been bred on a property, not around people and objects and that sort of thing. So I've got to be aware of that. So that's one little sort of lesson that she needs to know. The next lesson that you'd want to know is a horse has got a good backup. Now, you can do not enough backing up with horses and you can do too much, but you can never do too much of the right backing up, okay? So sometimes you can hunt horses back a bit fast, but the aim with backing is developing confidence in your horse so they can place their feet. So I'm going to just gently squeeze and now ask her to back, squeeze and ask her to back, squeeze and ask her to back. Now you see how I'm not squeezing. I only squeeze to ask her to lift up the rib cage and start to drive with that hindquarter. My hands are just there to just soften her, bring her thoughts back to me, and then I engage the back up. Now, the good thing there, I'm trying to teach you how to release tension. I was expecting she might have a little bit more tension in that back up and sort of wriggle around a bit and sort of try and find her feet. So before you start controlling the shoulders, it's good to have that nice, now, even back up. Now, I'm just going to sort of, a mare at this stage, I'm just going to guide her nose to straighten her, not her hips just yet, okay? And I'm just going to keep walking her up there and asking for a soft back up, and until she can sort of find her own straightness without me having to sort of correct when she... So I'm just going to squeeze, I'm going to remain straight myself. Now she's just turned out there, so I'm just going to correct that nose, correct the nose, and I'm just going to back her up in there, good girl, okay? When she finds that straightness, then I know that we've got less tension in the backup, and she's committed to it a little bit more. So I'm just going to squeeze, correct the nose there, squeeze, correct the nose. Now I'm just going to hold her there just a second, because the fence is coming up, and I'm not going to back her right into the fence. I'm going to walk her back out here again and just find that straightness. And when she feels like, and you see I'm giving her room to find her feet, I'm not backing her fast, I'm just letting her find her own feet. Just correcting the nose a little bit if she, and that shoulder just comes across. Now when she can find her own straightness, then maybe one day I'll back her in circles and use my body and my legs to push her hips around a little bit. But until then, I'm just going to let her, with limited pressure, find her own straightness. And then I know I'm not trapping it too much. So there we go, we're just getting a good straight back up, just good. So now that she's not trapped and tense in the back up, I know that she's comfortable to work on a hindquarter. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to stop her here. Now what I want to do when I move the shoulders, I want to sort of open up. So if I wanted to move the shoulders left, I'm just going to open up this side. And I'm just going to gently close this side. So she feels that sort of opening happen, and then she's got somewhere to step through. Now the other aim is I've got to be able to make her look into a rein a little bit, and so if I wanted her to commit to that direction and step out in that direction, I want her to look here and then just commit there like that, okay? And then if she can look there, then I've got somewhere to sort of step her out, and if a horse is focused in your direction, then it's going to be easier for them to rearrange their body to go in that direction. Whereas if you're just trapping them and shoving them over with a leg or a spur, then they're just going to be looking back at what's pushing them across, and they're not going to really use their body in a way that's effective enough to do a really smooth, consistent manoeuvre. So I'm just going to get her to look here like that. And see how, now this was, if anyone's read the blog or anything, this mare was very nervous on the right eye, okay, and she still is. So when I pick up a right rein, she's always got a little bit of a tendency to want to get back and put me on the left eye, okay. So I'm just going to work on just getting her to gently flex until, see the white of her eye? If you sort of look close on your camera, you can see there's more white of her eye, and she's really wanting to look back out there. So actually, what's going to happen, I could stand here and flex her all back there. She's starting to soften a little bit and relax in there. But if I give her space there, see how she ends up back over there? Now this is a thing that I've got to develop with this mare, is confidence to the right. So she actually wants to go to the right and choose to go to the right when I ask her to look right and go to the right. This turn will actually help her because, so instead of just flexing her all day until she commits, I might use this turn on the hindquarter to give her a direction and walk her out on it, so she actually goes, oh, that's fairly easy, I'll just walk out there, and that seems like a good idea. So, but what I might do is turn her on a good way first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to back her up. Now it's important not to haul them back and step them out. The back up is just to say, I need you with me, I need you to be able to work on your hindquarter. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to open up that rein, close this leg and just get her to look. And now there's tension and she's not sure, see? So instead of jamming her across and making her frightened, I might ask her there just a little bit. Good, that was okay. Now I'm going to walk her out. Now, if your horse just blocks and sort of looks that way and stiffens up and doesn't want to go, don't just apply more outside pressure. Maybe just take a bit of tension out of it by, riding him in the back up a little bit more or something. So back up, look, open up, step. Good girl. Now see what happened there? This left leg here reached out, created some room for her to step through. And what I actually did there, and I'll do it again, is I didn't ask three things at once. First of all, what I did is I asked for the backup. Right, I got a soft backup, and only when she felt like she was committed with me, then I just gently pick up that rein, step her out. Now I stopped backing her then, because as I said before, I don't want to haul her back and make her sort of step back and reach back and step under with that outside front foot. I wanted to think forward and go off in that direction. So the backup's there just to sort of show her that, and teach her how to soften up and use those hindquarters, because that's what she needs to sort of use when we do this turn. So I'm going to do this again. Back up, step, open up, good. Now, as soon as I looked that direction, got her to look that direction, close this leg here, I was riding in a forward motion. to make her sort of just step out of that forward and say, you know, that's easy to step out there. Because we can trap our horses too much by teaching them to come all the way around, pulling them back, okay? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to work on the other side. So I'm going to say, come back here, nice straight back up. If the horse is still wriggling around in the back up and trying to get out of it, then it's not ready. So then step, open up. Now she shuffled back a little bit too far then, but that's okay. You know, she still opened up her shoulders nicely and she softened up. So I'm just going to say back her up here, find another straight spot here, and then I'm just going to, in a forward motion, take her out to the right and say, step over there, good girl. Okay, now I let her walk a step out, and then I say back up again, look over there, open up the shoulders, step out there, good girl. And I let her just walk out. If she was hunting to go forward out there, then instead of sort of hauling her back in the turn, I just let her step out, and then I'd say, look, you just bounced into the little fence that we've got around us. Now just back off that fence again, find that straightness, good girl. Now look over there. Now see that tension just there, okay? I can feel that tension, so I'm not going to let her turn through that. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to hold that rein there till she relaxes, okay? It's important that we don't get anticipation and tension, so I'll relax her there. All right, now I'm going to back her up and find a relaxed back up and get her in between my legs and in between my hands mentally and physically before. Now see that tightness there and the hip, what just happened there is the hip sort of disengaged out there, and that was what I would call a leak, because I wanted her to step the shoulder and she leaked out with the hip because she first of all stiffened up here, had somewhere else she wanted to be, and she didn't want to commit to the turn. So what I'm going to do there, and if she keeps doing that, instead of pressing, once your horse starts to do that, there's no point pressing the shoulder harder to get it to go forward, to go around. It's actually better. So I'm going to try this one again. I'm going to get her out here, make her look. See the hip disengaging? Okay. So I'm going to predict that a little bit, and I'm going to say, okay, back up. Now look, step, engage the hindquarter. Good. Now look, step, engage the hindquarter. Now look, step. Good girl. So instead of pushing the shoulder harder and trapping her and fighting her to get across when she was leaking out with that hindquarter, all I did was softly just asked her to back up one more step, and when her hindquarter disengaged, I engaged it by using the back up. And then, when I felt she centred underneath me again, I just opened the rein up out there and said, would you like to step out there again? And I'm just going to continue trying that one. Back up. Now, ready, forward, step. She disengaged. I'm going to say back up, step. Good girl. Now, back up. Look. Step out, step forward, very nice. And then she did that nice forward step. I'm just going to walk her and say, let's go for a walk. Okay, now as I said before, it's important. There's different types of turn. There's what you would say like a turn on the hindquarter or a turn around or a spin or something, and that's where the horse has to maintain in forward motion. So the inside front leg reaches and the outside front leg crosses over the front. And the inside hind's the one that sort of the horse will come underneath itself and pivot on. But then in rollbacks and things like that, it's not so imperative to have those legs crossing over. But just to make her want to turn her hindquarters positively, I want to know that she's happy to sort of turn around and go forward, because I want to make it an incentive for her to go, look. So that. Look, let's go somewhere. So I'm going to stop her here, pick up the reins, get her centred first. Centred, take out the tension, make her look, step out. Now she leaked a little bit, but she then she sort of fixed it a little bit herself. So I'm just going to I'm going to go with that. But if she was really tight in the body and had a lot of tension, instead of creating more tension by pushing, I just engage the hindquarter with a little bit of something that she knows. Okay, so when I'm teaching a horse something new, I've obviously got a swag of tools that the horse already knows that I can fall back on to get my horse centred and calm with me. I'm not going to just sort of, go keep pushing, hoping for the best. So her, as I said before, I want to know that she's calm, firstly in the bridle. Okay, when I pick up the reins, she's not feeling overly trapped, and she still needs a lot of work. You see how she's trying to slow down a little bit when I pick up the reins, but she's only a very green mare, so I don't expect the world. But the good thing which I like about her is once upon a time those horses fidgeting out there would have taken her attention away from me a long way. So there I get her there nicely. And now I'm just going to even just see if she can do it from a walk. So I'm going to open up, step through there, reach out and then walk off. She sort of slowed down and shut down a little bit. And so I showed her. That was nice. And then I'm just going to come back through here again. I'm just going to get a little bit bent into the circle. Make sure she commits to a circle a little bit and she's not trying to, just push herself across. And then just here I'm going to say, now step, now walk out of that, good girl, before she draws back too much. And she's starting to build up, nice control over those shoulders. But something to start on, as I started with her before. Just a nice gentle back up. Step her through, good girl. She touches the fence as she walks out, and then step through, good girl. Stop, back up, step through. So it's 1, 2, 3. It's not 1, 2, 3 together. Okay, it's firstly 1, sending your horse in the back up, get her engaging the hind quarter, make her look in the direction, open up that inside leg and step through. But I ask for the back up, I stop the back up, create the direction, and just let her walk out in that direction. What a lot of horses are still wanting to be elsewhere do is they just walk straight out and they just go push out like that. So that's where you say, you walked out, come back in here to the soft spot and let's try again. And you just keep saying one step, 2 step, 3 step, and each time they try and walk out, you just stop them and put them back in your little soft space in here where you want them to turn. Okay, I hope that helps everybody out there to gain a little bit more understanding of your horse's mind and body control. Thanks very much, and hope to see you at the clinic.